prior to being a PT, I was a teacher, and I was flown all. Sorry about the light in the background. I decided to do my standing desk today. I decided, or so when I was a teacher, I was flown all over the country to. It was really crazy. I went all over the place trying to get teachers to be able to apply things better for the students. So we learned 30 years ago that the best way to get somebody to be able to apply things is not by listening to a teacher at their pace, all right? Which means, I mean, at my pace. So if everybody learns the fastest I'm teaching, that's great. Some are faster, some are slower, some are right at my speed. What we learned was if you could do like an apprentice style learning means if you're going to go to a blacksmith, let's just say, he would do a little presentation for you or a little demo. And then from that demo, he would then have you go and do something. So it was kind of like a little demo, go practice, a little demo, go practice. So what we found out is like 3 to 5 minute videos seem to be the best to get somebody to learn. 3 to 5 minutes of video of somebody to do something, or demo of somebody of what to do, and then go do it. Now, with us, so 30 years ago, we couldn't create videos cheaply. Well, you can do that now online. So when I came from a teaching profession into physical therapy, I brought that with me. And I said, when I discovered the TMR, I was like, wow, I want to take this out so that I can line it up so that anybody can follow this. It was not designed for you guys as clinicians. The very first people who ever did this were my patients, right? So that's the simplicity that we wanted to bring it about. About 2 years ago, I put it into it. So we've been teaching this since 2005. We put it online in 2000 and like it is, I think it was in 2008. No, it must have been 2011. And then we put it into an even better format. And then 2 years ago, I put it into a 7-step formula. All right, because I noticed, wait a second, every single thing, or 3 years ago, single thing we're doing follows 7 steps. So our patients walk out with a 7-step recipe. You guys are going to walk out with a 7-step recipe, but you need to know it enough and well enough that you're able to give that exact same 7 steps over to your patients. Because this is about giving a recipe to them so that all of a sudden, now that they've got the recipe, they can then go and do it for themselves. In fact, our patients often teach other people how to do it. It's nothing shy of hearing our patients come back and say, oh, I was at the bank yesterday in the grocery store and someone had a wrist problem, so I started treating him. And or, hey, I had a guy that I got his back pain all better, and he said he was at a party, and he said, all right, at 9 o'clock, we're going to go in the corner over here. I'm going to show you how to do totalmotion release. So that, when I got into this profession, most of us want to help people, right? Well, how much do you want to help them? Do you want to do all the work, or do you want to get them to be able to do the work and understand how the work's done? So I wanted to help them help themselves. And that's what most of us got in here. But you'll notice many things is you're still telling them, or you're doing it on, right? So this part of total motion release, and I can't emphasize it enough, total motion release is a concept. It is the scientific method laid out for rehab, all right? But I'm going to show you it includes going into restriction, going into ease, using 3 body areas to fix about anything. Use any yummy motion, sometimes yucky motion, to fix something in the body. So you could take an ankle and maybe change a jaw pain. When you know how to use the entire body, you will then have the ability to then give that over to your patients. Okay, so that's the goal for today, to make it so that you can understand the 7 steps thoroughly. However, what I need to ask you, you guys being clinicians are the hardest ones to teach. You're coming to the table with another set in another mindset. And you're going to use your mindset to say, oh, this must be what he means, or this is what he means. Or, hey, oh, this is the way I've been doing it. Boom, this is the way I should keep doing it. I'm wanting you so badly, because this is what I'm kind of preempting the things that people make the most mistakes on. All right. You will do things that aren't on the 7 steps. So it's like I'm asking you to play a game that you think you've been playing thoroughly for your entire career. And now I'm saying to you, wait a second. All right. And what do I mean by that? What do you mean you haven't been playing it thoroughly? Well, you'll get more of this tomorrow. All right. But when I say you haven't been playing it thoroughly, what I mean is, so when I started this, I remember telling my lead therapist, I said, I want to back up a story. I said, so when I was a teacher, I don't know why at 22 or 23, they would put the hardest kids in my class. I guess because all the other teachers didn't want them and stuff. And I remember having this kid, and when I say hardest, sometimes they were brilliant, right? But they were getting 65s everywhere else. And they say, put them in with me, because quote, I had all this training. And I probably learned more from them than they learned from me. But what happened was, I was a math teacher, and I realized it wasn't about the answer. So for you guys, it's not about the result. It's about the steps to get to the answer or the result. And so I used to put my kids, I had this giant room. And I had this giant whiteboard, and I used to put them up in front, and I would put a problem on the board that required them to use a lot of steps. And then I'd make like 6 or 7 would be at the board at the same time. And what we would do is, when they got done, whether they had the answer or not, we'd look at all the steps everybody had. And so maybe this person had 6 and 8 and 10, and this person had 14. Because I always said to them, put as many of the steps down as you're actually doing. Try not to do them in your head, just do. So we'd then go back and we'd look at the steps. And I'd say to number 6, they only had 6 of them. What did you miss writing down that number 14, somebody who had 14 steps missed? He goes, oh, I forgot this one. Oh, I forgot that one. Man, I didn't even know that one. Okay. And what we began finding out is that the only things the kids were doing wrong is they didn't know a step. They didn't understand a step. Once they got those 2 things down, the things that they were only making a mistake on was adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. It was crazy. It was awesome too, because my 65 level student ended up getting the highest grade on the final exam. I had not a single person that did not pass their state exams, end of state exams. It was really neat. All from the idea that steps was more important than the answer. And that if a teacher is just taking 10 points off just because of the answer, they too are missing a ton of stuff. So that's what I went back and taught the teachers too. Well, so step forward, probably 10 years from the ending there, I said to my lead PT, I said, I believe what I can bring to this profession is realizing that when we are making a success, or being successful with a patient, we are probably following steps. And I said, when we fail, we're probably missing one. And he laughed at me because he ain't never going to be able to do that. Think of how many techniques and how many treatment there are. And I said, I don't know if I can or not, but I said, I'm really intrigued to try to find it. Well, we found it. We're going to teach you tomorrow, Sunday, at 9:00, the 5 core concepts, the 5 things that relate every single problem to, every single technique that falls under it. So if it does that, it's really the scientific method, right? It's just, there's been some hidden things that you guys haven't seen for a long time, maybe your entire career, because you've been actually going according to the way somebody taught you, all right? And we're going to open and expand that up. But today is about, and so is tomorrow, but today is about getting you experience in the 7 steps. I will give you the history on the 7 steps. I'll give you how we found them, how we created them, what had to go into it, how many years it took us to find it, to break it down into a level that I don't care where you start or what technique you're going to shake your head to the 5 concepts. You're going to say, totally makes sense about the 7 steps too. All right. So your goal today, you might be thinking, oh, I just got to get through this. But I'm trying to make you say, no, your goal is to understand what the 7 steps are saying. They're all written on 1 page. All right. If you don't understand it, that's so vital to ask. All right. So with that said, I want to take you to the platform. I want to show you what you're going to be doing today. And I want to give you some lay of the land. All right, we are now ready for level 1. Gang, unfortunately, we used to be able to put a menu up here that had all 15 lessons. You can push whichever lesson you were on. Unfortunately, the back-end system of the website doesn't do that anymore. So literally, if you're trying to get to lesson, let's say you stop for a little bit and I don't know, you shut down tonight, you have to go through at the very bottom of every lesson and click here for next lesson. Apologize for that, but that is one inconvenience here just because the service that I'm using here just doesn't allow it. But anyways, so here we come into lesson 1. Do everything it says. You guys obviously are clinicians only. Be sure to join the Facebook page. All right, this is the coolest place. This is where I tell you where I'm maybe running events. You'll see cool examples of scoliosis getting fixed. You'll see when we've got something called TMR powered going on, other kind of neat stuff that I run into. Not just me though. Here's a guy, I had a patient today tell me that she went from PT for 12 weeks and spent $2,000. I literally saw her 15 minutes last week and taught her the twist and breathing out with exertion. And she said she felt better now than she ever had. He actually had an update just yesterday. I think he put in, yesterday, completely pain-free since week 3, fixed a shoulder, hip, and bent knee, leg raise. So you'll see these kind of stories and stuff too. So please join that. Highly recommend it at least. Okay. If you have Facebook. And then it says here, if you've never seen total motion release in action, some of you guys might be coming here, you just need credit or something, you don't even know what you're about ready to get. I highly recommend you click here, go to the website, at least watch like these videos, seeing it working. It might take a second to come up, but I'm not going to leave them here. Oh, there they came up. Watch those videos, and at least you'll know what you're getting into today. All right? Good. And then it says text me. Same thing that the thing said on the email. And then it says, hey, if you don't know how to use Boxer, here's one way. And there's a little one instructions if you have an Android. There. All right, so we're still on step 0. We haven't started yet, but step 0, little intro. And then there's forms. The forms that you really want to print out are 7 steps, this one and this one. So anyone that you really need will be highlighted in red. You'll the first time print them all out just to see what they're about. Some of you printed out the manual before. Some of that manual is a little old, like the 7 steps. It looks better here. So if you got a printer hooked up, just click here and print it out. All right, so it'll come up. Just hit the little print button up here and print it. Now, some of these have a Word document in it. Some people like to do this and have it online, and you can do that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that one. I'm on the back side. And all you got to do is when you come up, here's the form. There's the download button. Don't say open with and get Google Docs. I won't allow you to do it. In other words, it'll say, hey, you need permission, and you won't get permission, all right, because it doesn't work well. All right, so we say just download it and then open Word document, and you can start filling it out and use it as a Word document if you want. However, you're going to have to take a picture of your screen in order to send me your form. No big deal. People do that all the time. So if I talk too fast, that was a Word document. You come here, you click this button, it'll download for you. This is downloading for me down here. As soon as it does, I'm going to show in Finder, and I'm going to open it. When I open it, might take a minute because we're all online. There it should go. When I open it, here it is. And I can fill it out now via Word. You don't have to, all right? There's a PDF, which means you can print it out and just fill it out with pen and paper. All right? Do not think this is the way you do it. Most people don't do it this way, but a couple of them love doing it that way. And you'll just take a picture of it. The rest of you guys just take this is the sheet that you use the most every single lesson. There's the PDF, print it out, send it down, print it out, fill it out, and you'll be taking a picture on your camera. It tells you how to do it. All right, so once this is done, and you're only doing it one time, which is on step 0, you're now beginning the 7 steps. I will show you kind of how the process works. Step one, I'm going to give you a bunch of, actually not a bunch, I'm going to give you 6 motions to test each lesson, 6 new motions. However, these 6 new motions aren't new. They're just a little modification of one of the 6 sitting right here. Then I'm going to show you a little bit how to record them. And notice it says here, how to score is in the video below the 6 motions, which is here. And further explanation for scoring is in step 3. Sometimes you go, I need a little more info for scoring. All right, go to step 3 and you're going to get more. Don't forget to go back to step 2 though. All right, so if you want a little bit more, you're going to run into it here in a minute, but if you're really confused, just go down to step 3. Okay, step 2 now then gives you a little bit more instructions on, hey, I gave you 6 motions to test, but you might have come in here with something that doesn't have to do with those 6 motions. So I show you how to test that area of issue. Good. And this makes sense, right? So what might not make sense is you're not used to testing the full body before you start treatment. We test the full body before we treat anything. Then we test the area of injury and put a couple things down. And then we score it. Well, we've scored it, okay? And then we start treatment. You're going to find out uniquely, there's only 4 ways to start treatment. I show you 2 of them on this lesson. I prefer you to only use number 1 if you've got a good twist. You'll know what that means when you watch it. Number 2 will also be seen in lesson 2. All right, so in the first 4 to 5 lessons, you're going to learn how to treat the 4 ways. And you're going to be like, that's all the ways there is to treat? Yes, because they're so generic in the way that I label them. You'll be like, yeah, that is only the 4 ways you can treat in anything. So instead of twist, it really should be trunk. Okay, good. I take you down through there. Step 5 now is just simply going to say, yo, dudes, let's retest all the junk that we found in step 1 and 2. So what you're going to find here is that every time we do 2 sets of something, we retest it. So we do not wait 6 or 8, 10 sets or the end of the session to retest things. No, we're doing it every 2 to 3 sets. And then on top of that, this is the most important step. Be sure to know it. Be sure to really watch it, especially this video and this video. We show them what to do if it gets better, worse, or unchanged. We show them what if something funky happens? What if pain changes location? It's all in one sheet of paper, which is the 7 steps now. Yes, we do have another one called the 3 rules. The 3 rules, though, is now on the 7-step page, which is very up top. Okay, so now we show you anything. Once you've done 1 set, now you know. Okay, did things get better, worse, or unchanged? Great. I'm going to do whatever this says. Awesome. Come on down through, and now it says, hey, how many exercises do I need to do? Most of the time, you only need to do 1 to 2 exercises. Some of you will get better with 1 exercise. Some of you will take 2 and maybe get better, but sometimes you don't get all the way better with 2. Don't worry about that. Just do what it says here. Make sure you understand the rules. These are the rules, the things you see in blue, right? And what you see, sorry, I'm going to make you nauseous by scrolling back and forth. The rules, 7 steps of rehab. This and this are the most important things. Every session, every lesson, you'll get a new picture sheet. So these are the 7 steps. This is where you're recording it, and this is the picture sheet. So it's kind of like the rules of the game, the board game part of it, and here's the motions you're allowed to take. All right? Kind of cool, right? Maybe. Good. And then the very last, second to last thing is every lesson, I give you a video to watch. Make sure you watch it and do what it says for you to do. In 2, 3, and 4, there is actually a video that says, send me this. And it says, talk to me, and it tells you to memorize something, okay? So it tells you to re-spit back the 7 steps to you. And then you got the final step. Please watch this. Watch every video you have and go through it. All right. It tells you exactly what I'm looking for on your form. I will tell you what I'm going to send back to you if you've got it wrong. Good. And that's all there is. You click for the next lesson. Now I'm going to tell you what the majority of people do to slow themselves down, to be perfect, to take a long time, and you kind of get maybe a little stressed out towards the end of the day, or because it's taking so long. You actually won't be stressed out at the end of the day. It'll take you hours to do the first lesson. The first lesson is the longest one because you're learning the process. And you're going to say, oh my God, what do I do with this? What do you do? And you're going to be brainstorming, well, maybe it's here. What does he mean by that? And you'll watch it 4 or 5 times or something. Don't. You're going to be doing this form in these exercises with just slightly different SIGs 14 times out of the 15 lessons. So you're going to be using the same form 14 times. So you will become perfect. You don't have to be perfect on the first one. All right. And you'll be going back and reviewing lesson 1 constantly, because I'll say to you, I'm not sure you understand this one. Go back to lesson 1 and look at step 6 again. All right. So go through it and don't be this person either. Well, Tom, I watched all the videos first. Then I went back and started doing it. They seem to take a lot longer. Okay. And so the most time you should be taking on this first lesson is probably 2 hours. Okay. Sometimes people take 2.5. All right. Fair? Good? All right. So from there, I think you guys are pretty good to go. However, let me tell you, okay, what's the game plan for the 2 days? So there are 15 lessons, and you have until midnight tomorrow to complete it in order to get live credit if you're anybody but massage. Massage, you get live online credit. They don't let you have live, all right? You guys have to, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, they changed it and basically said everything has to be hands-on for you guys as far as in front of the person and to get live credit. So you get live online. Well, let me repeat myself. Everybody else gets live if you finish it this weekend. If you all of a sudden go, whoa, I want to take a home study and do this a little slower, that's fine too. You'll get home study credit. Okay. Massage therapist, you're not allowed to get home study credit. Apparently, you guys don't, the association doesn't accept home study credit. You can still learn it though, as far as that goes. All right. So again, finish it by midnight. What I'm doing is I'm giving you enough time that life might throw, maybe you got a soccer game or something. But I will tell you, those of you who end up breaking away and doing this, I'll do a little bit later or do this, you guys end up going and doing this all through the night. Okay. And I'm here. Usually I go to bed at midnight and I'll still be answering your forms. You can send me them at 3 a.m. It's not going to bother me because I have my phone off. All right. Or I've got it so it's muted so you won't. But send them and I wake up early in the morning. I'll tell you how you did. Okay. So what people will say, there's 15 lessons. Try to get through lesson 7 to 8 today. All right. Tomorrow morning, we meet at 9 a.m. Eastern time till 10:30. I teach you the latest and greatest, and I teach you those 5 concepts and the 7 rules, and I point it in a direction that you go, oh, that makes so much sense. And then tomorrow, you'll finish the last half. Once you get through, usually about lesson 7 or 8, once you get through 5, really things flow now. It's quicker. You might take 40 minutes on a lesson, maybe 30 minutes. All right. And tomorrow, 9 to 10:30 a.m., be here. Okay. Got to be there to get credit on that too. In the meantime, I can't stress this enough. At the end of every lesson, it says, send me the form via Voxer. That's the app that I'll send you if you haven't already sent me some stuff for your it's the thing it tells you to do right in the beginning. Every lesson. Don't wait till lesson 4 to send me it. Again, what ends up happening, those who do that, you'll have a mistake and you'll have to go redo the forms. I don't want that. It makes me feel bad. All right, so let me take away my view here. Good. If it's not quite sure, give me one of those. If you have no clue, give me one.